What's going on, vinyl community? And Steve at Psych in the Valleys, this one is for you. This is going to be a very quick contest video for Steve at Psych in the Valleys. And I think he is celebrating, is it 200, Steve, or 250? It's either one or the other. Either 200 or 250. In any case, that's great, and congratulations on that. I enjoy watching your videos, and I learn a lot. You've definitely shown some things that I have, but you show things more often than not that I do not have, and so I'm very thankful for that. We communicate sometimes via email, you and I, but I didn't know that you were a geography teacher, which is exciting for me because I am a huge fan of the geographical sciences. I have always been, from being a kid, I've always been a huge fan of geography. It fascinates the hell out of me, believe it or not. And so that's very cool. I would love to sit and talk with you about that sometime over the phone. But right now I'm going to go ahead and knock this out. So Steve wanted us to show a minimum of 5 albums with LP jackets that have some sort of a geographical theme to it, or a photo or an image of some sort that is geographically based. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. Partially because some of the records that I figured I would choose, I should have jumped on it sooner, but some of the records that I thought I would choose, other people very quickly chose because they're just great albums. I think Vinyl Richie showed 1 or 2 that I was going to show, and great records. So I think he showed a Buddy Miles record with Buddy blowing, smoke from the volcano, and that's a phenomenal album. He showed that, and a couple other people showed some things that I wanted to show. So I had to dig, and it was fun because it made me dig a little bit more, and that was great. So anyway, really quickly, what are we listening to? I always, again, have something in the background. I'd like to share that. We're listening to The Carrie Dancers by the Johnny Griffin Quartet. And why are we listening to the Carrie Dancer album by the Johnny Griffin Quartet? Well, because Johnny is so nicely dressed with his chair in the forest. Yes, sir. There he is. And this is an album that was originally released in 1962 on Riverside. I do not have the original album on vinyl. In fact, I don't have the album on vinyl at all, but I want it because after being introduced to it on this CD, this is a Riverside XR CD, extended resolution CD from Japan. It is a 1997 reissue, a remaster of The Carrie Dancers by the Johnny Griffin Quartet, and it is a phenomenal, nice hard bop record from 1962 originally. So that's what we're listening to, Johnny Griffin Quartet. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let's get going. I am not going to be descriptive like I normally am. I love being descriptive. I love to talk about the records and share with you guys, but a lot of the records I pulled, I eventually want to talk about later in later videos. So, with the exception of my last contest video, because I think it warranted discussing the record, this particular contest doesn't really warrant being overtly descriptive about the records. So I'm just going to show them, and Steve's going to put my name in a hat, and that's the way that goes. So here we go. Everyone's been showing Desert. Oh, that's Vinyl Richie also showed a Plasmatics record, and I would have probably chosen that one too. Everybody's showing stuff with desert-scapes. I'm surprised I haven't seen the Joshua Tree album yet, so I shouldn't have even said anything about that. Anyway, I wasn't going to pick that because I thought that might be a little cliche, but I wanted to show something with a desert theme, so I picked Al Stewart, Time Passages, and there is a scape of what looks like to be the Arizona desert. Or is it Utah? Steve, help me out. Is that Utah or Arizona? Anyway, Time Passages. Al Stewart, of course, famous for the song Time Passages. Incredible songwriter, incredible musician, and this is a really good album. This is an original pressing on Arista. Next, another great artist, another great album. It's a soundtrack. This is Neil Diamond and Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And there's Neil Diamond on the beach with the sunset in the background. Always loved the cover of this album, and it's a fantastic record as well. It's for the soundtrack of the movie Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and it's on Columbia Records. Original pressing, 1973. Here it is. This one I've never shown anybody even really talk about the band. I mean, they're a phenomenal modern contemporary jazz ensemble. And this is Spiral Gyro. And the album is called Breakout. This is 1985 or 86 on MCA Records. And it sounds, you know, traditionally like what Spiral Gyro would have sounded coming off of MCA in the mid 80s in contemporary jazz at that time. It's got that quintessential sound, but Spiral Gyro is a fantastic band. This is Breakout, and it's got a wall that's been broken out with a sledgehammer. And beyond that is some sort of a marshy lands here. And behind the marshy lands, or beyond the marshlands, some sort of like a fjord with water and hills. So, it's pretty cool. Okay, some urban geographics. So this is a play on my home here in Los Angeles. In fact, I just did a video for Mark at Back to the Vinyl that showed something on this album. This is an actual drawing, and this is Sky High by Tavares. Of course, famous for the song Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel. 1975? Is it 1975? I know it's on Capitol Records. Duh, there's the Capitol Record building right there. I think it's 75, I believe. 1976, I was close. So Tavares, and of course, it's got the mountainscape with the homes that are underneath the hill. That's actually called Hollywood Lake area. And there's actually a lake in there. There's a small lake in there. It's called Hollywood Lake. And it's a community. It's really pretty. It's not spoken about a lot, but it's a nice area. And of course, there's the Capitol building with the Hollywood, where the Hollywood sign would be, except it says Tavares. So, excellent record. Okay, a little bit more modern record. This soundtrack, this is another soundtrack. This soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. If you are a fan of hip hop, if you are a fan of eclectic, well thought out, the word I'm looking for. Intelligence quotient, IQ, inundated hip-hop. I mean, this is just a brilliant album. If you've never heard the Compton Soundtrack by Dr. Dre from the movie Compton, take a listen. And of course, this is Los Angeles. Here's downtown Los Angeles. And you would be standing, this is really a view of if you were to stand behind the Hollywood sign. So here's Hollywood. The Capitol Records building would be down this way, down over here. And here's downtown LA. And yeah, so that's a nice scape of that whole valley there, or the whole metropolis plain of Los Angeles and Hollywood. Compton Soundtrack by Dr. Dre. Incredible record. One more Urbanscape. One of my most favorite groups ever, and I think my second, or probably like my third favorite of their records. This is Urban Renewal, Tower of Power. And this is a great record, 1974, I think, and this is on Warner Brothers. This is their first record, or their first two records. They were on Columbia. And then they made the jump to Warner Brothers, and they were on Warner Brothers for a long time. So Urban Renewal, and this is of course just an urbanscape with a building coming down. I know it was kind of borderline, but I think it's kind of cool. Didn't have any people in the picture, which was a bonus. I just wanted it to be something geographical, so I picked that for another urbanscape. geographical location. So Tower of Power, Urban Renewal. And I think that was actually Lenny White's last album of him fronting the band. So this is Dallas Car, the group Dallas Car, which was a side project or an after project by Peter Murphy from Bauhaus, of Bauhaus fame. And the album is called The Waking Hour. It's got this really cool, almost Swiss mountainous background with a lake, looking out from sort of a columned structure, and it's a very pretty cover. It's kind of a weird album. I listen to it sometimes. I'm not crazy about the record, but it's good. But I guess that doesn't matter, just the cover matters. So Dallas Car, The Waking Hour, and this was on Paradox Records. And again, this was a side project by Peter Murphy of Bauhaus fame. One of my favorite albums of all time. And this is a beautiful southern rock / pop album from the 70s. I think it was 76 or 77. But this is Firefall, their debut album, with the song that made this particular album popular was You Are the Woman. And this has got a really beautiful lakescape. Here's some driftwood here, lakescape with some mountainous region in the back, and a comet coming down out of the sky. And yeah, it's a beautiful album cover, and it's a great record in my opinion. So Firefall, self-titled. 1976, I believe, on Atlantic Records. Okay, this is one that no one's ever shown, and the album's titled "Put Your Hand in the Hand," and it's by Ocean. And so there's the group right here, and they're sitting on sort of like a cliff overlooking the ocean. And of course, the popular song off of this album was the title track, "Put Your Hand in the Hand," and a lot of you, I'm sure, are familiar with that song. Ocean, Put Your Hand in the Hand. And back is, without the band there, an oceanscape. This is a good album. It's really a good album. Folky, sort of slightly psyche, folk, pop, mamas and papas type of a thing. So, last but not least, one of my very favorite albums of all time growing up. My uncle would play the hell out of this band. This band is what sparked my interest in Afrobeat and West African popular funk and soul music. And this is OCBC Loyola is the album. And it is a fantastic record. This is an original on Decca. And it's a Roger Dean cover, Roger Dean art, and of course Roger Dean, if you're not familiar with the name, which most of you are, I know, but for anyone who's not, Roger Dean did a lot of album covers, including everything by Yes. So when you look at a Yes cover, with the exception of the first album, all of the drawn art, the cartoonish, caricaturish art is Roger Dean. And Roger Dean did the first maybe 3 Woyoya or OCBC records. So this is OCBC Woyoya, and I believe it's 1970 or 71. It was their first album, and then the second album was just titled, or is it vice versa? Anyway, 1971 on Decca Records, and this is the original US pressing of that. And it's like a swampy, marshy background, and I used to be afraid of this album as a kid. Obviously, I wasn't around in 1971 when the album came out, but you know, growing up as a kid, my uncle, my dad's youngest brother, would play this thing, and I would be in his room whenever I visited my grandparents' house, and I'd go through his albums, and there was this record, and the cover always freaked me out, but I was always intrigued by it. And so yeah, it's a fantastic record. So great Afrobeat from West. Well, actually, Some of the members were from the Caribbean. They were all had direct African roots, but some were born in the Caribbean and were from the Caribbean. Some were from the UK, and some were actually from West Africa, from Ghana and Nigeria. And they recorded the album in the UK, in England, London, I believe. And yeah, fantastic record. So that's it. That's my entry. And Steve, congratulations again. I look forward to being thrown in a hat, and I look forward to you sending me that record. Whatever you're sending. Just kidding. May the best man win. Actually, may the luckiest man win, because I think everybody, all of you are phenomenal. So take care. God bless you guys very much, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.